Welcome back, Guivesa. Have I got a new one for you? I was gonna make a video about like tactics for the Tau and the like, and what units you should use, and fun stuff like that, or different cool things that I pulled off. And then I realized, oh yeah, that the balance data slate is coming out in a week, so I figured that we'd do something a bit more general, and that would be how we are the best and also the absolute worst. Because I love my Tau. That's my starting army. I've always loved them. I've never really played them in your orthodox Tau manner, so it's always been a bit fun for me. Whereas a lot of people I know that, or I've heard stories of people that play Taus, sit back, shoot, you're just a gun line, that's all you are, you're nothing more. It's kind of sad, it's depressing. It's not really that fun, and it's not fun for your opponent. And so that's mostly what I'm getting at here, like how can we run our Tau to make it more fun for everyone that we play against? And I know there's two ways you can play the game. You could have it be fluffy and fun, or you could have it be stupid competitive and find the most cheesy things to run at people. I see the appeal to both, but to be completely honest, like when I first started out, I noticed like all I had to do a lot was sit back and shoot, and I don't like that. I want to have a bit more fun with my opponent. I don't like seeing my models die, but I'd give them a little something, to make it a bit more entertaining, a bit more fun for everybody. So I've come up with our 4 big flaws on what we do wrong, and 4 solutions to make us a bit more fun to play against. Alright, so the 4 things that we have an issue with, they're all pretty well intertwined, and the first one is that we only move and shoot. Those are pretty much the only 2 parts of the game that we actively participate in. The moving phase and the shooting phase, and that's pretty dull and pretty boring, especially for our opponent. Like, it's like, alright, you're hiding behind stuff, and for the stuff you can't see, you outrange me, and we just shoot you a bunch. This is the next part, very much intertwined to that, is that we have tons of abilities to keep us from being charged. So not only do we only participate in 2 phases in our turn, we make our opponent only participate in those 2 phases in their turn. As long as I can remember, we've always had different abilities or stratagems that we could use to make it so that our opponent's charges were more difficult. Even if they made it in, they weren't as effective. And in this modern age, I think that we have one where like we worsen your charge, and you also have to take a battle shock test. So even if you get on the point, you could fail the battle shock test, like on the objective that we're sitting on, and you still won't have it because we'll have it. And our guys, you might not have killed them all, so we'll still have some OC. Though let's be real, just about everyone of our fire warriors will probably die in melee, along with, well, insert whatever battle suit here. And after negating all of the charges, like we keep them from playing in that part of the game, and then deter them from actually being able to play in the fight phase too. So this one comes a little bit with the first one that I mentioned, is that we hit harder than everyone else in shooting. We see you, you die, we outrange you, our guns are more powerful. Our basic foot soldier, I'm not even talking about the breacher, the strike teams with their pulse rifles, that's strength 5, 30 inches. That's pretty impressive, not even factoring in rapid fire and the like whatever other buffs we can give them. So our basic units are head and shoulders above the rest with our ranged firepower. Sure, we only hit on 4s, but let's be real, everyone's getting guided these days. So it's just not fun. Just me point at something every turn and be like, alright, that's dead. Sure, it doesn't always pan out, and we need that if we actually want to play and compete, but, it's not fun for our opponent. And the last part is simply shutting off engagement with our opponents. We have all different things that, well, I'm just going to cut the chase. It's the lone ops. It's our use of lone ops. They're everywhere. We have one of our biggest battle suits carrying around a lone op, the Ghost Kill. Never run it in my life. Also don't own it. Kind of wish I did own it, but that's besides the point. So we just make it so people can't engage with us. We have jump, shoot, jump, like our guys jump up, shoot, they run away, you can't see them or touch them anymore. We do need that because otherwise they're glass cannons. The lone operatives, like I mentioned, a lot of our stuff has stealth, and the stuff that doesn't have stealth have like minuses to wound. So it's all about like making it so they can't play with us fully. And it's valid, it helps. It's good for us if we really want to go try hard and win games, but I'm sure that most of you guys don't always want that. Like, you want to have a fun round where it's really back and forth, and it's not determined to turn 3 when Kayun kicks in and you just table your opponent. That's not really fun either. So anyways, here are my 4 solutions to the issues that I've mentioned above. The first one, with only moving and shooting, we need something to interact in the fight phase and the charge phase, and that's going to be obvious. Kroot. Farsight, Anshi, and Anva. Kroot are pretty squishy, they're hard to actually get there, but they are good for bullying people in midfield objectives like light infantry and stuff, like I previously mentioned, like the Guardians of the Eldar, the Guardsmen, and the Genestealer cult little guys and stuff. So like, it's fun, we can participate a little bit, even like running them into like to tie up like a Space Marine or two, because you know you can't kill all the Kroot, just to prolong the inevitable. It makes, you know, your opponent feel good that like, all right, we can actually run in and like there's something that we can fight against. Farsight also really big. He's good against like bigger, tankier things. And heck, he can pick up Marines and the like, and sweep through the little foot soldiers of the guard. So that would be fun for your opponent too, because it would be like you'd actually have one-on-one duels that Farsight has with other commanders in the enemy army. You know, get some thematic things going on. Anshi is a similar way, but let's be real, he's only good against like T3 guys, T3, T4 maybe. His AP isn't that impressive, so anything against power armor probably going to bounce. He does have a couple fun little abilities that you can throw in there. I've been experimenting with him in some melee capacity against one of my cousins who runs orcs. It's a good time. And then there's Anva, who can pop his -1 to hit, -1 to wound, and his 2-up invuln. Also really, really impressive that he can hold stuff in melee, and like your opponent will have like a challenge there. And you actually can run him into things, and he won't die immediately. So you get a little bit more fun to play in the game, and your opponent gets a bit more fun to try to kill something in the game. So pretty much anybody that can punch a little bit of melee would be absolutely perfect. You know, you get a little bit more interaction, you can actually charge opponents' objectives, that'd be good. You know, this is actually really convenient to the new Kroot coming out, actual melee prowess and potential. I know, I don't want to shill for Games Workshop, but this was perfectly timed, it's awesome, it's great. It extends the rest of the game to us. Anyways, so now on to the next one with our abilities of negating people to charge and just keeping them at arm's length. That's good and all, but I'm going to venture another option to you. And that's going to be the speed bumps. Instead of it being just like war gear that you put or stratagems that we pop in order to make it hard for our opponents, let's just put speed bumps in the way. Cheap, chaffy speed bumps that like that's their purpose, to be there to slow down people running up the board and trying to bash our faces in. And once again, we see Kroot because they're good. They have a scout move, they get out there, they're also a little bit more melee oriented, and you don't really care if they die. But your opponent will feel good like clearing away. Pathfinder is the same way. They have forward deploy, they have scout moves. Anva comes up again because he is tanky and he doesn't have scout move or anything, but he is totally a speed bump. You can go up and tie up somebody for at least one turn. Stealth suits are similar because they're forward deploy and they're also pretty tanky, -1 to hit shooting, but in melee they die pretty easy, even though they're kind of like Space Marines. It was better when they had a -1 to hit in combat. Wish that came back, but I digress. Those guys will come in handy. Even little fire warriors, like pithy little fire warrior squads, they're good speed bumps for your bigger battle suits that are sitting behind them to defend. So these give your opponent a bit more things to play with and mess with, and you a little bit more practice in screening out and keeping your bigger gun safe. Because let's be real, like it's nice just to have mass like damage and killing and all, but like I don't know, it's not so fun when you end the game and you've got like your 18 crisis suits standing tall and brave, and your opponent has nothing on the table. This is all about giving everybody a bit better of an experience. So you know, a bit more squishy guys, a bit more of them. We're higher quality in general, so like it'll feel good for your opponent to actually get in and dig up against them. But let's be real, you're not going to lose sleep over like Kroot or Pathfinders or Fire Warriors. It's not that big a deal. And Anva is there to tie people up to begin with. You still got your big guns in the back, so it'll still be good. Like they run in, they get tied up, you pull your boys back, and you eradicate them. You can still win, you can still fight. It's still viable. And this is where it comes into the other part. Like we still need to keep our shooting, because like we hit harder than anyone else in shooting, but that doesn't mean that we should just, you know, like completely new to ourselves. It's one thing we got going for ourselves. So you should still bring crisis suits if you want to bring breachers or your broadsides, riptides, but crisis suits are always the main good ones. So like I'm not saying not take it, like don't leave them home, definitely bring it. You need it in order to play the game if you actually want to be a little bit tough and entertaining. And for the last one, for shutting off any gameplay, it's pretty obvious. Don't spam lone ops. It's not fun. Might be effective, but it's not fun. Yeah, it's pretty simple, you know, like throw some Kroot in there. I think Kroot have been every single one of my suggestions to go up into the middle mid-board. Like literally, I don't know, maybe this is just another Kroot plug. Maybe I should title a video that's like why you should get Kroot. It fixes all of your problems for people hating playing Tau. Maybe I am a GW shill. I don't know. I hate their prices, but who knows? Maybe they're onto something this go around. But I digress. Anyways, this is just a little food for thought, you know. I recently ran Pure Infantry Tau against my cousin twice. It was a great time. He turned up and killed a lot of my things. I still had every single breacher squad intact by the end of it. But sure, like everything else that died, but like maybe I'll make a story about that sometime. But it's still entertaining. Like there's still ways to play the game where your opponent feels like they're still in it and they're winning and they're killing stuff and they're actually enjoying the game, instead of just going up against Tau. You sit in the backfields and just gun down them as they run across the board, because that's not fun for anybody. Anyways, let me know what you think. If there's any other ways you think the Tau could do better in order to make it a more entertaining experience for people to play, please let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts. And drop a like if you really want. It helps with the algorithm and whatnot. You know, we're new here. We're here to entertain. If you have any other video ideas you'd like to hear from me, let me know. And I hope all of your days go for the greater good.